Council meeting, please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Sylvia. Roll call.
Mayor Clark.
Here.
Council President Harris.
Here.
Councilor Henderson.
Here.
Councilor Kuiper.
Here.
Councilor King.
Here.
Councilor Robinson.
Here.
Councilor Browse.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Council. Consent agenda, approval of October the 4th, 2016 City Council meeting minutes, Resolution 2016-063, completing the annual performance evaluation of the city attorney for the city of Sherwood. Do I have a motion to approve consent?
I move we approve consent.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Council. Citizen comments, do we have any citizen comment forms? Oops. Thank you. Jason Christensen? Yes, please. And just go ahead and push the button until it turns green, and then we will be able to hear what you have to say. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. My name is Jason Christensen. I've been involved in law enforcement for almost 21 years. I've lived in this area of City of Sherwood for about 16. I have children in a high school, middle school, and elementary. I'm very vested in this community and have for many years, as well as my brothers. One of the reasons I decided to speak to you today is I understand there's been a lot of discussions about outsourcing police services in Sherwood, considering different budget proposals for graveyard shift. I'm not quite sure what's spurring this on, other than maybe an idea to eventually move police services to Washington County predominantly. I am a very strong supporter of the Sherwood Police. As a member of law enforcement, I know how important safety is to our community. I know how important it is to have vested people who care and want to serve in this area, people who know the citizens. And myself, having been a neighborhood officer for many years, I know how critical it is to know your area that you patrol in. I think it would be a grave disservice to the citizens of Sherwood to move services to someone who is not predominantly here. I know there might be ideas of money savings and stuff like that, but having been a victim a couple times myself and having received excellent service from Sherwood officers, I can tell you that my interest and my family's interest and many of the people that I know want to see Sherwood officers in staffing increased. We want to see a strong force that has good morale and not outsourced to any other agency, just for the idea of maybe some money savings. One thing I'd just like to point out also is that when officers come from other agencies who maybe aren't as vested here, their interests are often drawn to where there's more action per se, such as maybe Tigard, Beaverton, Aloha. You may have someone that is supposed to be patrolling here, but they often won't be here. I would prefer to have officers who, to be honest, may be bored and who are out searching for car prowlers, burglars, and other people who create neighborhood problems, than I'd rather have someone who's just here by name but are elsewhere in the county. So I would appreciate, I know that there's more considerations being given of whether we're going to go forward with more of these ideas. And again, I would strongly encourage us to sustain, build up, and support our Sherwood police officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christensen. You can just leave it. Okay, that's fine. Andy Jensen, and just push the, he knows, push the button.
Andy Jensen, 10-year Sherwood resident. I wanted to echo what Mr. Christensen said as well. When I first heard about the idea of possibly outsourcing some of the police services, didn't really raise any red flags for me. Made sense. Do that a lot in my work. Try to figure out whether it makes more sense financially to hire versus contract, things like that. So But as I thought about it more, I had some similar concerns. I know most of the Sherwood police officers by sight. I see them, not that I've been pulled over or anything else by them, but I know them and I recognize them when they're in the community, when they're at events like the Robin Hood Festival and other things. My kids know them. They recognize most of them by sight. I think that makes a big difference for the community. One of the things that is cited as one of the reasons to live in Sherwood is the safety. I think that contributes to the safety here. There's a lot of downside to contracting that in. They don't know the area. They don't know the people. They don't know the history of things that have happened here in Sherwood, things like that. They don't have the same investment in the community. And so I think more than the financial, I think we need to look at that aspect of what's best for the community from a policing perspective around that. And so I encourage the council to look at that very closely. And I express my appreciation for the few times that I have called Sherwood Police, and they've been right there, and great service from them, and that means a lot to me and to the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Kirsten Curtis?
Thank you, Mayor Clark and members of the council. My name is Kirsten Curtis, and I am counsel for the Sherwood Police Officers Association, preparing a statement to deliver on their behalf for you today. The Sherwood Police Officers Association members are police officers who serve the city of Sherwood and have done so for many years. They're very proud of the safety and security that they provide to the community. The membership wishes to go on record today to address proposals being presented to the city that are currently being reviewed in work sessions. The proposals being presented that are the utmost concern to the membership is the consideration of contracting police services with Washington County. These proposals would dramatically affect police services in Sherwood. Sherwood is and has been rated one of the safest cities in the state of Oregon. Our membership wonders why these proposals are even being considered to contract police services when they have a proven record of stellar service and commitment to Sherwood. We ask citizens in the council why not support the Sherwood Police Department in a plan for increased services rather than contract them out. Sherwood police officers are known in the community and their service and commitment is unmatched. These proposals will affect their work hours, their days off, and their assignments as well. The Sherwood Police Officers Association and their families ask you to support them just as they have supported you. With recent financial reports placing Sherwood among the top cities in Oregon regarding tax base, funds, and credit, we ask the city invest in the police officers and your local police department. The city has grown with and has been strengthened by the services provided by the dedicated professionals who make up the Sherwood Police Officers Association. Sherwood Police Officers Association has worked very hard to serve the community, even while they have continued to operate at a low staffing level for many years. This alone is and has been one of the officers' safety concerns, and yet they continue to provide these services that the residents and businesses have become accustomed to. Many officers have logged hundreds and hundreds of hours of overtime as a result, and they will continue to do so. Without a doubt, our officers have proven that they are committed to the community of Sherwood. The Sherwood Police Officers Association asks you to support the local police department by approving additional Sherwood police officer positions and funding for staff necessary to continue to provide the exceptional services that they have provided in the past. We ask the citizens of the community to please call, email, text, and write the city government and request their support for your police department. Lastly, the Police Officers Association would like to thank the Sherwood Police Foundation for their generous support. And we also would like to thank the community members who have appeared today to support the Police Officers Association. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Joe, since there were several questions on why we're talking about it, could you answer that since it's really more of a staff question?
Well, I think it came out of the police staffing study that was done a year ago. It was an idea that was suggested by the consultant Matrix to explore that alternative. That was then discussed with council, and we went out and began discussions with the Sheriff's Department, which have been going on since June, largely of this year. We've had 2 work sessions, and we continue those discussions. So that's really the genesis of that, is out of the study. It was a recommendation to look at that, and that's what we've been doing over the last 6 months.
Okay, and so we paid for a study. This was their recommendation, and so we're moving forward in investigating it. And so that, so the public understands, is why we're moving forward on discussing it. And we've
Yes.
had lots of open public work sessions with our Police Advisory Board, and we'll continue to have those. And thank you for testifying and giving us your feedback as well. So we love to have all of the feedback that we can possibly get to make a good decision.
Okay,
Awesome.
thanks.
Thank
I have a
you.
request. Could Mrs. Curtis provide us with a copy of her statement for the record? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did we have any additional comments? Okay, thank you. Presentation, swearing in of police officer Ty Hanlon.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. It's my privilege and a long time coming to introduce our newest officer. If he would come up now, Mr. Gresham. Just a little bit about him. He is a Oregonian and grown and raised here in Kaiser, Oregon. He's married to his wife Jackie, and they have 5 girls in the city here in Oregon. He has a bachelor's of arts degree in criminal justice from Portland State. He's coming to us by way of the Oregon Health Science University here in Portland. So we're thrilled to have him. He started yesterday, and tonight we're going to swear him in as a Sherwood police officer. So, well, I'll grab your badge. You might want to. If you would, raise your right hand. And you'll put your name in. Follow me for the rest of it. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States. The Constitutions and laws of the State of Oregon. The laws and ordinances of the City of Sherwood. And rules and regulations of the Sherwood Police Department. And that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of police officer during my continuance therein. To the best of my ability. So help me God. At this time, I'd like to have his wife come up and the badge on. He has his Kevlar vest on. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Close enough.
I'd like to invite the mayor and council down if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, really?
Congratulations. So, can we get a group photo too? Karen?
Yes, absolutely, sure.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more. Perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gone down and done that before. No, I know. I asked if we could. Yeah. All right, that was fantastic. Okay, employee spotlight. Joe Gall.
Yes, Mayor and Council. For the folks that don't know what we do, once a month we highlight an employee. Usually it's an employee who has done something recently of note that we want to recognize, or someone who's worked for the city for many years that we want to acknowledge his or her service. So tonight's employee spotlight is sitting right next to me, and he is Tom Pessimir, the Assistant City Manager. So let me tell you a little bit about Tom and his history here with the city. He began with the city of Sherwood back in May 2005 as the civil engineer. Prior to joining us, he worked in the private sector for a couple different civil engineering firms in the region. In 2006, he became the city engineer. In 2008, Tom was promoted to the Community Development Director position and served in that capacity until 2012. After former city manager Jim Pattison left the city in 2011, Tom stepped up once again to serve as the interim city manager for approximately 9 months. In November 2012, I promoted Tom to the assistant city manager for our organization, where he has successfully served in numerous different ways since then. His portfolio of responsibilities is diverse and includes human resources, risk management, economic development, and urban renewal. And the community development department still falls within his purview as well. As the assistant city manager, he has handled a number of important special projects over the past 5 years. He holds 2 bachelor's degrees, which I didn't realize until I pulled out his file. The first is in civil engineering from Portland State University, and his second is in economics from Oregon State University. He is a Beaver, Councilor Anderson. Tom is well respected, I can tell you, in the city manager profession, locally and statewide. He approaches his work each and every day with a passion for results. He has excellent analytical skills and a very strong ethical core. He is a tremendous asset to our organization and community, and I consider myself very fortunate to work with him side by side each day. Please join me in congratulating Tom as our employee spotlight for October.
Well, congratulations,
Thank you.
Tom. I loved hearing all of that. I didn't know that you had 2 bachelors. That's really fantastic. Very cool to hear that. So we work with him every day, but I love these employee spotlights because we do get to hear some additional facts and tidbits about our awesome employees. And I've loved working with you, Tom, and I'm really glad that you're the recipient. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So, okay. Public hearings, ordinance 2016-013, amending chapters 16.10, definitions, and 16.134, floodplain overlay of the zoning and community development code as they relate to the regulation of development within the floodplain in Sherwood, and declaring an emergency. Brad Kilby?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So tonight, I'm bringing 3 things back to you for the second reading, and just a reminder to the public and those watching at home that this is the second reading, and all the materials for this specific ordinance were in last week's or last council meeting's packet. There are no proposed changes from staff beyond what was read into the record at the last hearing when I read all the definitions that FEMA had proposed. That was reflected in the revised attachments to the ordinance. We're requesting that the legislation be adopted by emergency to ensure that it is effective by the FEMA imposed deadline of November 4th to make sure that our citizens continue to receive protection through the National Flood Insurance Program if they are in fact entitled to that protection. I do have the presentation available if anybody wanted to see it again. I'd be happy to read those definitions to you. And there was a question last time, I think, that Councilor Kuiper, and I also got a question in the audience about the definitions of crawl space, basement, and subgrade crawl space, and whether or not that would conflict with our building code. So I talked to the city, I guess, Scott McKee, our building official, and I work with him every day. I don't call him by building official, but I talked to Scott about it, and Scott said that there are no, he looked at it, he didn't see any known conflicts with it. He said in his profession, if it's structurally related to a building and it's outside of the floodplain, they would apply the definition in the building code. If it's within the floodplain, it's consistent. The uniform building codes from Oregon are consistent with the National Flood Insurance Program, so that he didn't see any reason that there'd be a conflict. And just to, I guess, further for our code, in our code, we have a clause that basically says, in the event that there are 2 conflicting terms or ordinances or regulations, that the more strict of the 2 would apply. So we tend to lead more conservatively.
And so for our citizens, just for clarity, This is our second reading and our second presentation. If you are interested in seeing the full slideshow and the full presentation, it occurred at our last council meeting. We don't need a repeat at this council meeting that I know of or that I can hear. So thank you, staff. I just want to make sure that this is the second reading. And so if citizens are interested in the first reading, you can certainly go back and look at our last council meeting, and it will be there. So thank you, staff. I'll open up the public testimony. Do we have any public requests? All right, I'll close the public hearing time. Return to the counselors for any questions for staff. Any questions for staff on this? Okay, then, yes, ma'am.
I would like to make a comment.
Okay, go.
So this is Councilor Robinson, and I was present at the Planning Commission presentation from our consultants, and Brad was present, and I just wanted to extend a big thank you to Commissioner Rob Reddick of our Planning Commission. He was very valuable at the Planning Commission level for providing input into definitions and how they interacted with other portions of the code, and had lots of great ideas that staff then incorporated into the package that you and I see today. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to him for utilizing his day job, vast amount of knowledge, and applying it so that it's usable to us. And I just was so pleased to see that he had such valuable information. So,
Thank you, Counselor. Yeah, fantastic. So, all right, do I have a motion from Council?
We'll give it a try. I move that we caption and adopt Ordinance 2016-013, amending chapters 16.10 definitions and 16.134 floodplain overlay of the Zoning and Community Development Code as they relate to the regulation of development within the floodplain in Sherwood and declaring an emergency.
Second. Sylvia?
Ordinance 2016-013, amending chapters 16.10 definitions and 16.134 floodplain overlay of the Zoning and Community Development Code as they relate to the regulation of development within the floodplain in Sherwood and declaring an emergency. Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Counselor Robinson?
aye.
Counselor Kuiper?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
Counselor Henderson?
Aye.
Council President Harris?
Aye.
Mayor Clark?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, staff. Ordinance 2016-014, amending Chapter 7 of Volume 2 of the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan and adopting the Sherwood Sanitary Sewer Master Plan. Brad, second reading.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. I just thought of something. I'm not sure if we're required to read the hearing script or not for this on the second reading. A legislative hearing script for a second reading.
I don't believe so, since we read it the first.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I just want to make sure that we didn't get tripped up procedurally. So this is for ordinances 2006 and 14. I'm going to just give the same staff report because there's really the only difference is one we're talking about sanitary sewer and the other we're talking about stormwater. I'm not the expert. The applicants or the consultants are here. You heard their presentation last time. I do have the presentation available on my jump drive if you would like to look at any of the slides again, and the maps are up there. I think what I heard last time was that our system's in fairly good shape, that there are some challenges that we'll have to overcome in the future, but they're minor, and that we have our SDCs are in a position to correct those deficiencies in the future. Staff continues to recommend approval of the two master plans and the proposed amendments to the comprehensive plan. We recommend that you hold a separate hearing on each one of the items and adopt each one separately if you're so inclined to do that. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer those questions.
All right. We'll open up the public testimony. Do we have any public this time? All right, I'll close the public testimony. I'll bring back to counselors. Do you have any questions for staff? Hearing no questions, do I have a motion?
I'll move. We read, caption, and adopt ordinance 2016-014, amending Chapter 7 of Volume 2 of the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan and adopting the Sherwood Sanitary Sewer Master Plan.
Second. Sylvia?
Ordinance 2014-014, amending Chapter 7 of Volume 2 of the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan and adopting the Sherwood Sanitary Sewer Master Plan. Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Counselor Robinson?
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
Counselor Henderson?
Aye.
Council President Harris?
Aye.
Mayor Clark?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinance 2016-015, amending Chapter 7 of Volume 2 of the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan and adopting the Sherwood Stormwater Master Plan. Brad Kilby, second reading.
Second reading, again, I have nothing new to add. Nothing was changed from the last one. They continue to meet the criteria, and staff recommends that you approve the legislation as proposed.
Thank you. I'll open up the public testimony hearing time. Any public comments on this? Okay, I will close the public testimony time. I'll bring it back to council. Do you have any questions for staff? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
I move that we read, caption, and adopt ordinance 2016-015, amending Chapter 7 of Volume 2 of the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan and adopting the Sherwood Stormwater Master Plan.
I second.
Sylvia?
Ordinance 2016-015, amending Chapter 7 of Volume 2 of the Sherwood Comprehensive Plan and adopting the Sherwood Stormwater Master Plan. Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Counselor Robinson?
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
Counselor Henderson?
Aye.
Council President Harris?
Aye.
Mayor Clark?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. City manager report.
Mayor and council, I just want to remind the folks here and the council and, of course, the viewing public, your November meeting schedule has been altered slightly. You usually only do have one meeting historically in the months of November and December. That will be the case again this year. So you will not have a meeting either on November 1st or November 15th, which is your normal first and third Tuesdays of the month. Your next meeting after tonight's meeting for council will be November 29th after Thanksgiving, unless there's a need for a special meeting between now and then. So I just wanted to remind everybody that we've got some altered schedules for November. We'll make sure the website has that. And, the newsletter is going out in the next day or two. We've made changes in there as well. I also want to note, I believe the Planning Commission has adjusted their schedule slightly. They're supposed to meet on November 8th, which is election night. They have a couple members that are running for city council, and I think that's one of the reasons they've altered their schedule so they can enjoy the festivities of watching the election returns come in versus being here for a planning commission meeting.
And so then planning, could you just announce for
You know what the dates are?
Yeah, November 22nd. So they're just not having their first meeting in
Okay.
November.
Okay, so now, is it customary that planning would have one in November anyway?
Well, they're scheduled to have two in November. Basically, they have meetings on nights you don't.
Right.
So normally they would be the second and fourth Tuesday of November. They're not meeting the second Tuesday of November, so they'll meet the fourth Tuesday of November.
So they're largely, I think, more driven by applications and timing of applications and state deadlines and things like that. So
Okay.
they'll only have one meeting in November, not their normal meeting. So there'll be a little bit of a break with the election coming up. So.
Okay, and if we have a need for a special meeting, then we will notice that to our public and make sure that you have lots of time to be able to come and to view. But at this point, our one meeting in November, which is customary, will be on the 29th. So everybody put that on their calendar. All right.
And
great.
then I know that Jean in the finance department is going to do another poll for the budget committee to have a meeting in November. Now that we have the other meetings scheduled, we know
Right.
what rooms are available. So look for that
Okay.
in the near future to try to find a date where most of the budget committee can attend in November.
Okay, so budget committee members out there,
Yes.
be watching.
So
Get that doodle poll done.
Yes. Any questions for either myself or any of the department directors that are here?
Council, any questions? All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
We have leaf pickup
Leaf pickup
last week in October.
last week in October. So I know a lot of people have been pushing their leaves out with the heavy rains.
Yep.
And I want to congratulate our awesome public works staff has been working very hard to, to really take care of the heavy rains and the flooding issues as a result of the heavy rains and, of course, right at the time when all the leaves drop. So it makes it challenging, and I know that they worked very hard this weekend and week, making sure that our drains were getting cleared out. And so citizens, if you are able to get those leaves pushed out more towards the middle of the street as opposed to, or in your yard debris cans, as opposed to on, right on the curb, that would be very helpful in keeping those leaves out of the drain system.
The other thing that I would like to mention just publicly, we posted this on Facebook, but with the heavy rains that have started, we did decide to close the dog park because we do not want the sod, which regrew, to be torn up. So that's pretty typical with dog parks in a lot of jurisdictions during the rainy season. So we really want to protect that turf so we don't have to replant again. So.
Well, and I kind of feel like probably the dog owners are not really wanting to be down there in torrential downpour.
Some do.
So. Well, now, you notice I didn't say the dogs. I think the
dogs would love to be
perfectly
there, so.
fine with it. I think it more the owners. So thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, great. All right. So I just wanted to make a few announcements. Last Wednesday, we were very fortunate to be able to celebrate the opening of Odd Gribble Lane. We had a great celebration. Lots of people came, and there were, I know, a lot of photos taken and put on the Sherwood Gazette site as well as online. And it was a beautiful celebration. My favorite photo of all is her standing under the sign, looking up at it. It's tremendous. It's a Sherwood Gazette photo. You have to go see it because it's my favorite of all. And every time I drive by the former Columbia Street and see that Odd Gribble Lane, it just warms my heart. I think it's a great addition to Sherwood, and I know how much she appreciates being honored in that way. So thank you to Joe and to staff for working on that because it was great. And we even did it on a beautiful day. It was actually sunny and gorgeous, so we snuck it right in. So pathetic fallacy right there. It was perfect and gorgeous weather. Tomorrow morning, I'll be at the West Side Transportation Alliance board meeting. I love this board, but it's always right after council. And so it makes it a little bit challenging because it's super early in the morning, but this is a great alternative transportation board that I serve on. And it's a fantastic way to get some input on really recognizing and promoting alternative transportation for all of the citizens in Washington County. So I'll be happy to attend that. And Friday morning, I'll be speaking at Rotary and giving them an update on the city works. I did this last year, and it was a lot of fun. And ironically, it is actually Joe's Rotary that has always invited me, and because we have a couple Rotary clubs in Sherwood, and ironically, he's never actually attended when I am the speaker. So I'm just not going to take that personally.
I have a conference on
He
Friday.
has other events and conferences that he has to attend, but it'll be really fun to give them an update because they're a wonderful organization. So on Friday, I want to remind everyone this Friday from 5 to 9 is Spook Alley at the SMS, Sherwood Middle School. That is always a lot of fun. And I know that they are still looking for volunteers. So if anyone wants to help them out at the Sherwood Middle School, I'm sure that they would highly appreciate it. A lot of volunteer hours go into putting on this really fun event. And even if you don't have a middle schooler, it's super fun to watch them get excited as they're getting a little bit older. They love to do the Spook Alley instead of the trick-or-treating. And so this is a fun event. It's a fun community event.
May I ask, who's the coordinator? Michelle?
Well, if you go online because I looked it up online. If you just go online at the SMS, they have a link to it.
Okay.
And then you can find the volunteer,
Okay.
the list there. Because we got it. If you have a Sherwood middle schooler, you get an email on it. But there is at the Sherwood Middle School website a way that you can get into that, volunteers. So great question, because I think that it would be really great. So on Saturday from 9 to 7 I believe it's at the high school, is Stuff the Trunk. And they are gathering stuffed animals to give out at Dornbecker's, I believe is the recipients. And so if you'd like to go and donate a stuffed animal, this is a great opportunity to bring some light during the holiday seasons to some kids that are working through some illnesses. So I highly recommend that. That's 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. They're accepting donations. From 10 to 11 at Countryside Church, they're having a clothing exchange. This is kind of a fun event because you can bring any clothing that you'd like to get rid of and you'd like to share with someone who might think that it's super awesome, and they can pick it up. And then it's just a welcome to everyone. And then they donate all of the clothing to people who might need it. And during the holiday season, this is a great way to just get together, have some fun, and maybe exchange some clothes and donate to a great cause. We've got at our awesome Red Robin, Tip-A-Cop. There's 2 times they kind of run together, but they're going to be breaking up the shifts. This supports the Special Olympics. Our police officers have a great relationship with Special Olympics, and this is their chosen charity. And so they do a couple of events a year. This is one of the fun events that they do. So it's Tip-A-Cop at the Red Robin from 11 to 3 is the first shift, and then 4 to 8 is the second shift. So come on down, and the tips that they receive, you'll get served by police officers, and the tips that they receive will go to the Special Olympics program.
On what day would that be?
That's also on Saturday. These are all on Saturday.
Okay.
These are all going on this Saturday. So you really have no excuse to sit in your jammy jams and watch television all day. There are a lot of great things going on in Sherwood. Get on out there. So the last thing that I have is the Sherwood Booster Club auction. That is going to be at the Elks Lodge, also on Saturday. It's 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I know, because I also have received emails on this, that they are still looking for people to come. So I would love it if you would sign up to go to this great event. I've gone for years. It's a lot of fun. It supports all of our sports, our youth sports programs. And it's a great way to give back to our youth sports programs. And we're very fortunate to have wonderful youth sports in Sherwood of all different kinds for kids to get involved with. So highly recommend that you come and support the Sherwood Booster Club. That's at the Elks Lodge, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. On Tuesday, the October 25th, that's the following Tuesday, at the Sherwood Police Department, there's going to be a Washington County program, and it is called the Gatekeeper Program. It's to help with senior citizens and recognizing senior citizen needs. I highly recommend that you go to this. Washington County does a great job with these programs and these events. That is at our Sherwood Police Department. On Wednesday, I'll be attending the Urban Growth Regional Task Force meeting at Metro. That's in downtown Portland from 2:30 to 4:30. We're talking a lot about the urban growth all over the Portland metropolitan area, and I've been appointed to that committee, and so I'll look forward to hearing their recommendations. Sherwood had the opportunity to make a presentation 2 meetings ago to that, talking about our ideas, and so this is a great opportunity for us to interact with a municipality, Metro, that does have jurisdiction over us, and so we have an opportunity to have a voice when I go to meetings like this. Thursday, October 27th, is a Therapeutic Associates open house. That is from 5 to 8. They're located, they're a physical therapy company, and they are located kind of across from Home Depot. They have not had an open house before, and so they've been in business there. In fact, I've gone to them more than once, I'm not going to lie, and they're fantastic. And so they've been in business in Sherwood for many years, but this is the first time that they've had an open house. So come on over and check them out, and you just might want to work on that plantar fasciitis that's been bugging you for a while. So Therapeutic Associates, Thursday. On Monday, October 31st, I have no idea what that day is. Oh, that's right, Halloween. Yes, I do, because I have children. I've been reminded repeatedly, October 31st, Halloween. We've got lots going on in the city of Sherwood. And actually on that day, Council President Harris and I are going to be going to Edie Ridge for the 3rd grade elementary community fair and volunteering there. So that is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. There's going to be Halloween in Old Town from 3 to 6. That's rain or shine. Us Oregonians are not thwarted by a little bit of wetness. So come on down. The businesses love doing this. I know when Dell had his law firm downtown, he loved seeing the little ones coming around, and they are a lot of fun. And so come down to Old Town and celebrate Halloween in Old Town before it gets dark. It's a nice opportunity, particularly if you have younger ones, to go out there and trick or treat in an atmosphere that's super safe and not so dark. So yeah, see? Early, yes, and early before we have to go to bed. So that's a good thing. So on Wednesday, November 2nd, I'll be at the Southwest Corridor Steering Committee from 9 a.m. to 11, and then the WRWC from 5 p.m. to 8. And I wanted to just remind everyone, I'm sure that you kind of might have noticed by, I don't know, signs everywhere. We've got an election coming up. Tuesday, November 8th is the election day, but you'll be receiving your ballots very soon. Feel free to vote early so that you don't forget. So get those ballots in, and Sylvia will be opening up that box. When are you going to open up the box, ma'am?
Actually, the county opens blocks there. So I don't have a specific date,
Okay.
but it should be within a couple days of the ballots being received.
Okay, and that box is located right here at the City Hall Library in the parking lot, and so you don't even have to place a stamp on. You can return those books and also drop your ballot off. Please make sure that you drop your ballot in the ballot box, not the book return. Happens every year. We retrieve them out, but it's better if you get it in the box, right? Miss Murphy? Yes, I know. She tells us every year. I know. I know. She tells us every
You
year.
can turn in your book.
Say it again.
Recycle them?
Deadline's 8 o'clock on Tuesday.
Correct.
Do they recycle the books?
November the
So the
8th.
voter pamphlets as well, you can turn into the ballot box?
I had not heard that.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
No.
Sorry.
No. Please recycle those in the correct recycle receptacles, which are blue, and they go to the curb. Yes.
Okay.
No, I don't know how you heard that.
There's a recycling
Okay.
program for that too.
No.
I was like, wow,
Heavenly
that's a new
stars.
program.
Oh my
Good
gosh.
for what you're
Okay.
doing.
Council President Harris. Okay, Council President Harris.
So I will do a quick thing for the library. Wednesday's presidential debate will be live streamed in the community room tomorrow at 6 p.m. So you're all invited. Bring your nice hats. Trick-or-treating in Old Town on Halloween, we've already covered. Library is launching a strategic planning process to determine service priorities for the next 3 years. And representatives from the community have been invited to participate in the 2 community forums. It's really exciting time for the library, and we just appointed 2 new library board members that will officially take their position at our November 29th meeting. And Councilor Browse is going to the library board meeting for me tomorrow, so I wanted to say thank you for that. And Councilor Kuiper made it to the Cultural Arts Commission meeting for me on Monday because I couldn't go to that either, who is also working on their long-term plan. So it's both of my commissions are super exciting right now and in flux. So I was sorry to miss that. And the last thing I'm going to share is my feelings about a couple of ballot measures. I would like to encourage people to vote no on Measure 34-264, which is the ban on recreational cannabis. And I want to just point out that the numbers have come back, $33 million in the first 6 months of sales, recreational sales in Oregon. 17% of that is divided up between cities, and of that 17%, Oregon gets 10%. Sorry, it's kind of a crazy number, but the 17% is divided up. Anyway, however it works out, it's over $500,000 that could be coming to Sherwood just for having recreational facilities if that $33 million holds up, and keeping in mind that that $33 million does not include the 3 months where they weren't taxing it. So that's really a 3-month period of $33 million, and $500,000 for a 6-month period takes it up to $1 million for an annual amount that Sherwood could potentially see. That money is earmarked for police, and as we go through this study with the police and figuring out ways to come up with more money for police, it seems like a really great way to fund additional officers in Sherwood. There's also legislation right now to increase that 10%. So they're looking at pulling from some of the other areas. 40% of that 17% goes to the general education fund. 20% goes to mental health. So they're talking about different ways in the legislature to bring more than 10% to the local jurisdiction. 10% goes to county and 10% goes to city. So that's potentially some of that 10% that Washington County would get also could come to Sherwood. So the financial impact is huge. I also just want to put out there that it's really illegal markets with no standards that pose the biggest public threat for us. And cigarette usage is at an all-time low for teens, primarily due to taxation and regulation, as well as underage drinking laws that underage drinking has dramatically dropped because of effective marketing and regulation. It was down to 24.8%. From 1991, it was at 33.4%, and it's down to 24.8%. So teen use in areas that have legalized recreational cannabis use have gone down. So there are a lot of positive aspects to regulating, taxing, beyond just the fact that somebody who wants to smoke can smoke. There's a lot of benefits to our community to getting funds like that into our community. So I'm voting, asking and encouraging people to vote yes on our 3% tax, which is also on the ballot, and no on the ban of 34,264. I know that was my soapbox, but I get it.
Okay, thank you. Councilor King.
Just a reminder that Sherwood Main Street will have their general meeting this Thursday at Rebecca Lodge at 8 a.m. So,
I did go to the Cultural Arts Commission meeting on Monday for Councilor Harris. And actually, I think it's a great idea every once in a while if different councilors can go to a commission or board meeting that they don't normally act as liaison for, because I really learned a lot. There's so much going on at the Cultural Arts Commission. And I will say that over the past, just since September, rentals have just skyrocketed. Hawksview Vineyards had an event paid for, and they paid for their space. There's anniversaries, there's parties. Right now, the Voices for the Performing Arts has the venue for 2 weeks to perform Alice in Wonderland Junior, which is a wonderful show. I went last weekend. It was amazing. 112 kids in 2 different casts. I don't know how they do it, but kudos to the entire group of volunteers that pull out all the stops every single time. It's really amazing to see the littles all the way up through high school perform. It's amazing. So there's a lot going on at the Cultural Arts Center. They have a lot of things happening. They will be having their winter catalog will be coming out in the Sherwood Gazette, so look for that. But the most recent happening will be tomorrow night, and there is a gallery opening for about 20 artists, and they are amazing. They're local artists, and they were challenged by the Art Center to paint 4 paintings 8 inches square, so it's called 4/8, and they were encouraged to come up with their own designs and paint on 4 8-square-inch canvases. And they're having a gallery opening. I encourage you, if you can't get there tomorrow night from 6:30 to 8:30, that they'll be there through, I think, the end of October. Some incredible artwork, and it's all for sale, and all of those proceeds go back to help the artists. And these are very reasonable. I mean, some of this art, they're giving it away. It's amazing. These artists, I found at least 6 of them that I would love to purchase myself. So pretty amazing. There is a Robin Hood Festival Association meeting this Thursday at 7 o'clock, if you can make it. We're going to be talking about the upcoming tree lighting ceremony and holiday events that are coming up December 3rd. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilor Browse?
So I attended the school board meeting last Wednesday, I think it was. And we had two National Merit semi-finalists that were honored. So that was really awesome to see and be a part of. The talent that we have in our school district is pretty phenomenal. And then the highlight of the night was, again, John Dickover presented on behalf of the Bowman Family Foundation. And he first presented the fact that $75,000 was raised at the first annual golf tournament in honor of Jason Gooding. And from that, they're going to be giving out two $1,000 scholarships annually for deserving students. So I thought that was pretty awesome. But the second piece that was just as awesome, if you remember back in, I think it was June or July, I reported that at the school board meeting, Mr. Dickover gave a very impassioned plea to the school board about renaming the football field in honor of Sergeant Gooding. And at that time, it was turned down. But Pat Allen was designated the liaison between the school board and the foundation, and they came up with a solution. So what is being proposed, it's going through the naming rights now, is that the Sherwood High School football field would be named the Jason Gooding football field. The stadium would still remain as is. And then if the school bond passes, then the new high school, the field would be the Memorial Stadium. So it sounds like a win-win, honoring Jason Gooding and the family, as well as future people who may lose their lives for service. So that was really pretty phenomenal. We also received an enrollment update. So right now in the Sherwood School District, we are at 5,131 students in the school district. Not quite what they expected, but still above last year's number of 5,042. Then they also announced that there are budget committee positions open, so position 5 and 3. So they're looking for budget committee members, and you can apply, I believe, online. I'm not sure. You have until the end of November to do so.
735 at the high school.
Yeah. Let's see. The other piece that I wanted to share is the next chamber meeting is on the 8th of November, so election day, but it's also a new type of a meeting. It's going to be a roundtable discussion on social media. So could be pretty interesting, but new and different for chamber. And then I wanted to share that it is shelter season. So starting November 6th, the first Sunday of November, will be shelter season beginning at Hope's Diner and St. Francis Church. And also there is a new shelter that is opened on Thursday evenings at the Methodist Church to help feed those in need in our community. So if you know of anyone, please send them that direction. Had the honor of serving on Sunday and met a couple of our friends without homes, and they are living out of their vans, which is sad to say, but they both have jobs and are trying to make their lives better. So it was a pleasure to talk and learn from them. So that's all I have.
So I just wanted to make a clarification on the Methodist Church dinner on Thursdays. It's not a dinner necessarily for people in need. It's a dinner for anyone in the community, and they are welcome to anyone who is interested in having a meal together with neighborhood friends, and it's not specified for in need. They would welcome any people who would like to just join together in a meal together. Maybe you live at home alone and you're not a person in need, but you'd really just like to have a dinner around a lot of friends and share a meal in a family type setting. And so I do know that the Methodists would really like everyone to come. And it's not reliant on need, and they welcome anyone to share in that event. I know. So I know that there were some people in the community that wanted to make sure that people didn't decide not to come because they thought, well, I'm not in need, I don't need to come. No, you're welcome. They'd love to have you there. So, Councilor Henderson?
I think the mayor already mentioned Tippecanoe. I'll be gone this weekend, so apparently I'll be missing out on a lot. But have to go up to Seattle for a funeral. Alice in Wonderland continues with the London cast this Thursday, Friday, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday evening. And tickets are available at vpafoundation.org. And the last time I looked, they were about 60% sold out. So I would encourage, if you're interested, to get your tickets early. The Legion is having a potluck Halloween contest with food and prizes on October 29th, and that's available to anybody who's a guest of a Legion member, and should be fun. And in the interest of accuracy, Councilor Harris's comments about marijuana taxation, I just wanted to clarify some numbers. So she's correct in that 40% of taxes go to the Common School Fund, and that is then spread out over 197 districts. And then 20% goes to mental health, alcohol, and drug services. 15% goes to state police, and 5% to OHA for alcohol, drug abuse, prevention, early intervention, and treatment services. And then what changes in July of 17 is the 20% that goes to local law enforcement agency until 7/1 of 17. That's by population. So 25 cities make up 90% of the population in Oregon, and we are not one of them. So that is not really in our favor in that calculation, I don't think. But then on, I guess, 7/2 of 17, they go back, and it's proportionately distributed by licenses. So the more licenses you have, the more money you get. But of course, it's 20% of 60%, not 20% of 100%. What you're quoting is 33 million. That's 100% of that number, right? That's the number you were quoting.
My quote was that Oregon made that much, not that we get the 17% of the 33 million. No.
Right. So it's not 10% of 33 million. I mean, 20% of 33 million. It would be 20, or it would be
10%.
No, none of it's 10%. It's
10% of the 17%. It's a very convoluted thing, and you can find it online. It's very easy to find. The general math is somewhat easy, but how it's distributed is difficult.
Yeah, what I looked it up said 20% to local law enforcement agencies of the 60%. So we don't know what that'll be because we have very little data. But 40% to the Common School Fund. So depending upon how licenses you have, how many licenses you have, or how big you are, is in your best interest. I mean, before the passage of 97 or 91, Portland had 97 medicinal dispensaries. My guess is today they probably have more than 100, which are doing both recreational and medicinal.
They do.
So, and that's all I have.
We've got a
besides Police Advisory Board this week.
Sorry. Oh yes, Councilor Robinson. When you're not physically here, it's so easy to forget. I'm so sorry, Councilor Robinson. Oh, heavenly stars. Well, there you have it. All right. We have a URA Board of Director meeting after this, and so I will adjourn our meeting at this point. We are adjourned.